Morning everybody. Today I'm going to do a quick video on how to skin out a deer head. Okay, I'm going to try my best to keep this in the frame. So the first thing you need to do is the initial cut. So some people will do a Y like that, some people will do a T. It's kind of personal preference, doesn't make a real big difference. I always did the Y cut, kind of just follow this darker hairline here. That's the way I've always done it. So just start kind of going from the middle up to the base of the antler, and the other cut is here, same thing. Cut up to the base of the antler. Something like that. And then from the point of your Y, you want to make it a cut downward. This one's going for a Euro mount, so the head's cut off short. If you had the full cape, you would take this down further. Like I'm going to take it right to the end of it here. It's personal preference how far you go. Some guys will cut it all the way down the whole cape. Other guys will just do as short as possible. I recommend that personally. It's less sewing afterwards. At this point, now you got that initial cut made, you just start peeling the hide back. You get around the base of the antlers, you want to make sure you're cutting it right up in there so you're not going to have any gaps around the base of the antler when it comes time to mount it. If you're just doing this for a Euro, you can just kind of hack it off, but if you're going to do it to mount it, you want to make sure you're not cutting off any of your cape. It's going to cause you some problems later on. So I usually put the knife with the sharp side up and kind of point in and cut upwards. When I get to the bases here, just kind of work my knife back and forth as best you can to try and keep as much of that hide on there as possible. Working this down all the way. Get to the ears, you're gonna have to cut down through the ear cartilage. And I always say leave as much on as you can, right? Like there's the ear butt. Leave on as much on there as you can, because you can always cut more off when you're flushing it, but if you cut too much off initially, it makes it harder to try and fix afterwards. So it's not hard to cut through it. It's definitely something to pay attention to, so you're not making your cut. You're cutting this whole bottom part off, and then also now you're having to try and rebuild it. I like to leave it all on there and then deal with it later on. Once it's off the skull and a little easier to handle and see what you're doing. So. keep working that down. Best to keep my fat head out of the screen. We ended up leaving a little bit of hair on the skull, which, like I said, you want to try and avoid if you can. It wasn't too much, so I'm not super worried about it, but the less you leave on there, obviously the better. So we'll just repeat the process on this one. It's a little harder with some of these guys, these big knobbly bases on there. It's harder to get your knife underneath there to really get the cut where you want it to be. Of course, those are the ones that look super cool, or the ones that are harder to do. Skin this out on the back. If you get to the point where you're having a rough time making it move somewhere else, loosen it up a bit, and then go back. Sometimes the hide is pulling too tight from another direction, and you need to loosen it up from somewhere else to get it to really start moving again. At this point, here's that ear again. So we're going to cut straight down through that, keeping close to the hide, or the skull. Right? Trying to leave as much of that on there, onto the hide as we can. That one loosened up. So the next thing we're going to run into is the eyeballs. Just keep working this guy down. So when you get to the eyes, you really got to be careful if you're doing this for taxidermy, so you don't cut the eye hole and make a big mess, because it's really hard to fix, and if you mess up the eyes on a mount, it messes up the whole mount. So you can see what I'm doing is I'm actually taking my finger, sticking it in here, and kind of pulling back. There's the tip of my finger. I'm pulling that back. I'm pulling it tight, because you want to try and get a bunch of this inner eyelid. Right? That's what you're going to use. 100% mounted to actually kind of shape around the eye. So important to keep that. Right, like this is the eye here. You want all this. You want to keep all that on the hide. When it comes time to fleshing it afterwards, you're not going to cut that off. That's important. You keep that stuff there. Again on this side. Down a little bit. This one's a little different because it's cut so short for the Euro. But normally this would all be more of a tube, but it'll come off more together. Kind of hack job that was on the back of it, but you get the idea. So there again, there's the eye, there's all that inner eyelid you want to keep on there. Next part is right here, right kind of at the corner of the eye. You got to be careful you don't cut a great big hole there. So go slow with it and try and keep to there as possible, so you don't have the big cut. On this side. Okay, here's the mouth. So again, you can kind of put your finger in here and pull back up and cut down through there. And you can see there's the teeth starting to show up. So take that down. Do the same on the other side. Working your way all the way around. The key to skinning anything is you want to make sure that hide is tight. If you're kind of just trying to do it loose, it's going to be difficult. You see every time I'm skinning it, I'm pulling on that hide, and it kind of helps you see where you need to make your cuts as well when you're pulling on it. You can see kind of these white membrane-y things show up as you pull. That kind of tells you if you're kind of lost and you're not sure where you should be going with your knife. Give the hide a tug. See where those membrane guys show up, that'll kind of give you an idea, right, like right there, where you should be cutting. Keep doing this with the bottom jaw done here quick, hopefully. And work on that nose part. When you get to the end here, you want to make sure you're not cutting any of the lips off or anything like that. You want to keep all that on there. See the whole lip is all intact all the way around. And then we're gonna flip them over and do the top part, the nose. So kind of pull it back. So I'm cutting underneath and here into the nose. So again, I like to cut pretty much this whole front part of cartilage off, and then I can clean it all up after the fact. There. So we flip this guy right first side out again. So we got the nose, we got all the lips there, all the way around the bottom jaw. Got lots to work with within our nose. Got the eyes are all good. We've got that inner eyelid still left on there, no holes. Got some good ear butts to work with. If you're doing Bondo, got to clean all this up obviously and split the ears, but if you're using ear liners, doesn't really matter, but like that. And then you can see that V cut will get sewed back up something like this, and just leave those holes where the antlers go through.